This is Marisa, 29 years old, Texas, daughter of immigrants who spent her whole life thinking stress was something only rich people had to deal with. You know, those who can afford therapy, medications, maybe even a vacation to forget it all. But not her. Tonight she's sitting in her tiny kitchen just past midnight. On the table before her lie letters. The first one's from the insurance company, denied. The second from her landlord, demanding overdue rent, no money to pay. Nobody cares that Marisa's life is already a mess. They say, get help. Sounds nice, almost like advice from a glossy magazine. But her credit card is empty, and so is her head. At night, she listens to the fridge humming louder than her phone buzzing with unpaid bill reminders. Her only allies are WhatsApp chats with her sister and an old candle of St. Guadalupe burning somewhere on a dusty shelf. And Google, the eternal optimist, telling her, just breathe. But breathing feels like the last thing she's got. And you, sitting there watching this, probably thinking, well, my life's not that bad. Really? Count how much money and energy you've already spent just to keep from losing your mind in this crazy world. And how much more you'll have to spend tomorrow. Because stress isn't a luxury, it's the new poverty. And Marisa knows that better than anyone. This is Marisa, 29 years old, living in Texas, a place where dreams can be big, but so can the bills. She's the daughter of immigrants who spent her entire life thinking that stress was a luxury reserved for the rich. You know, the people who can afford therapy sessions, pricey prescriptions, or even a weekend getaway to escape their worries. But not Marisa. By day, Marisa works as a waitress in a small diner, the kind of place where the coffee is strong, the table sticky, and the tips barely cover the bills. By night, she cleans offices and restaurants, scrubbing floors and wiping down counters in the dim glow of fluorescent lights. 70 hours a week, hustling hard to keep the rent paid, the fridge stocked, and the lights on. But somehow it's never enough. Her hands are rough and cracked, a map of all the hard work and little reward. Those calluses tell stories of early mornings, late nights, and a life where break is just a word, not a reality. But Marisa wears a smile like armor, a mask to get through the day, to survive the next customer's rude comment, to hide the exhaustion no one wants to see. Once upon a time, her mother dreamed of Marisa wearing a white doctor's coat, symbolizing success, stability, and respect. Her father dreamed of a quiet wedding with a good man who could provide a calm, steady life. But instead, Marisa got a stained apron, latex gloves, and fingers so raw from work they sometimes bleed. The dreams her parents held close slipped quietly away, replaced by reality. When Marisa was just 6 years old, she was already translating letters from the IRS for her mother, because no one else in the family could speak English well enough. While other kids played outside, she learned the weight of adult worries too early. Letters filled with confusing words and numbers that meant life or eviction, money or hunger. At 18, she cried for the first time because her credit card application was denied. That moment, the cold slam of a door in her face, was a lesson she never wanted but couldn't avoid. The system told her, "You don't belong here," that she wasn't enough. And then just recently, Marisa scared herself. In the grimy bathroom of a roadside diner, her heart squeezed so tight it felt like it might stop. 3 minutes of panic, endless seconds where her breath hitched and her mind raced. 5 minutes to wipe her tears, fix her makeup, and put on the same smile she'd worn 1,000 times before. Back out on the floor, asking, "Extra napkins?" as if nothing happened. In Marisa's family, emotions are saved for Sunday Mass, a sacred time to cry, pray, and release. At home, feelings are a luxury they can't afford. Instead, there's gratitude. Gratitude for a $2 cup of coffee to warm her hands on a cold morning. Gratitude that immigration hasn't knocked on their door yet. Gratitude that no one knows she spends her nights quietly Googling panic attack free help, searching for an escape from the spiral. Maybe you're watching this and thinking, well, my life isn't that bad. But be honest, how much did your last sleepless night cost you? How many times have you stared at the ceiling fighting the noise in your head? Because deep down, we're all a little like Marisa. Maybe you wear a suit instead of a stained apron. Maybe your struggles look different. But the price of holding it all together? It's the same. Marisa is more than a waitress working double shifts. She's a symbol for millions who labor in the shadows, hiding fear behind a smile, fighting invisible battles. Her story is the story of our times, when stress isn't a luxury, but the new poverty. Every day is a small victory. Every deep breath a step toward not breaking down. And sometimes when it feels like all strength is gone, help comes from unexpected places. Like the simple breathing exercise,
where rest costs more than rent. Sleep Mediations makes calm instant. Pick your calm, press play. No signups, no tricks, just actual sleep. Like it should be. Tonight, you sleep for real. Link's waiting.
And guided meditations Marisa found in the Mind Power app, a tiny tool that fits in her pocket, reminding her to breathe, to slow down, to fight another day. Because even when it seems like the whole world is against you, you can take one step forward. And sometimes that step is everything. Her boss barely looks up when he says, "You look like a zombie. Take the day off, unpaid, of course." An unpaid day off, that's not a break. It's just another bill piling up. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, missing a shift means no money for rent, no groceries, maybe even getting your electricity cut off next month. No one's handing out freebies here, not in her world. That night, she walks home in the pouring rain. Taxi? Forget about it. That's a luxury she can't afford. At the bus stop, there's a little food stand selling burritos for $2. She buys one but ends up giving half to a homeless guy curled up nearby, wrapped in a ragged jacket. Unlike her manager, he looks her in the eye and says a real thank you. That small moment of kindness hits different when your world's been rough. On the late-night bus, panic crashes over her like a wave. Her heart races, hands sweaty and sticky. She hides her face in her palms, trying not to show it. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. Around her, people are lost in their own bubbles, earbuds in, eyes glazed, scrolling endlessly. In this cramped cage of strangers and silence, Marisa feels completely invisible. At home, her mom softly says, "Pray, Hiha, things will get better." Her sister sends a cat gif, a tiny burst of light in the darkness, a little hang in there from miles away. Marisa pulls out her phone and types, "Affordable therapy near me." Google fires back with a cold fact. Next available appointment, 4 months from now. 4 months to wait when every breath feels like a battle. 4 months feels like forever when you're drowning in anxiety, when nights stretch endlessly and your mind won't shut off. The same scary thoughts keep playing on loop. You can't handle this. It's all falling apart. Where's the help? But nobody shows up, because help isn't free. It's a privilege, something most don't get. Don't see yourself here? Think about the last time you asked for help. How did that go? Who answered? And how much did it cost you? Your pride, your peace, your hope? How many times did you fake a smile when you wanted to scream? How many nights did you lie awake staring at the ceiling, begging for relief? In this world where every day is a grind just to stay afloat, there's no room for weakness. You're expected to keep hustling, even when everything inside feels like breaking. Support feels like a joke, a far-off dream, sometimes even a betrayal. Marisa pushes through. She takes the next order, flashes the same tired smile, says, "Extra napkins?" Because that's all she's got left. Her body aches, her spirits worn thin, but her boss's words keep ringing. "You look like a zombie. Take the day off. Unpaid." And that unpaid day off? It's not freedom, it's a tighter noose. What about you? When's the last time you asked for help? And what was the price? Sometimes the cost is silence, the kind no one hears, pain no one sees. It's thousands of tiny sacrifices nobody notices. This isn't just Marisa's story. It's the story of millions grinding in the shadows. But they don't quit. They keep moving forward step by step, even when the world says, "Take a break, but pay for it yourself." And in that quiet fight, They hold on. They survive. They live. Sometimes help comes in the smallest packages. Marisa started using an app called Mind Power. Simple guided meditations and breathing exercises she can do anytime, anywhere. It's not therapy, but it's something. A lifeline in her pocket when the panic gets loud. Little moments of peace in a noisy world. Because even when it feels like everything's against you, you can still take one step forward. And sometimes that step means everything. Late at the next day, Marisa finally looks this whole circus dead in the eyes. Not through a meme or a quick TikTok tip, but for real. She sees exactly how much other people's smiles and promises really cost. She picks up her phone, doesn't even have to search. The feed shoves it in her face. Coaches with movie star teeth and spray tans, standing on shiny hotel stages under spotlights, throwing their arms wide and yelling, "Unlock your mind, unlock your future." $5,000 for a front row seat to your own insecurities. $5,000 to set yourself free. The only thing you're freeing is your bank account. She scrolls more. Next come the Insta therapists. These ones don't shout. They whisper. Their videos drip with candles, succulents, warm filters. Soft voices say, "It's all inside you. You're enough." Of course, to hear how enough you are, you'll need a subscription. Morning checklist, evening mantra, bonus meditation to release your ex. All sold in neat little bundles you pay for every month. To them, Marisa isn't a person. She's a subscriber, a walking bundle of anxiety with a debit card attached. Her midnight panic attacks, just prime content for their business plan. They all chant the same thing: invest in yourself. Hilarious. Marisa's whole life is an investment, just with negative returns. She's invested every breath, every double shift, every prayer that the landlord won't knock too soon. Her profit? Mold in the corner of her kitchen and a maxed out card. Her friend Gloria thought she found the answer last month. She hired herself a life coach. 2 sessions in, poof, there go 2 paychecks. And what happened next? Gloria's now selling self-love coaching herself. Instagram bio updated, pastel posts with DM for spots. And so the cycle spins. Buy pain, flip pain, squeeze pain for just a bit more rent money. And you? Somebody watching this right now probably has a tab open for the same self-help masterclass for $999. A glossy landing page, life-changing testimonials, a Discord full of equally broke dreamers. And you're thinking, well, maybe it'll work? One question. Are you really the customer? Or are you the product? The fresh data point, the next subscriber, the next number that someone's quarterly bonus depends on. Marisa closes the tab and tosses her empty coffee mug into the sink. The dull thud is louder than any ad's promises. She stares out the window. No gurus there. Just neon reflections in puddles. Cheap pizza smell in the hall. Cold air that bites her skin. That's real. That's exactly as expensive as she can afford. Pretty much nothing. And these coaches? They cost more than life itself. The worse you feel, the better they live. Because your fear is their asset. Your anxiety, their steady cash flow. They're not selling happiness. They're renting you hope, monthly, auto-renewed. Marisa wipes down tables at the diner. She checks her phone again. Ads everywhere. Therapy, fast, affordable. Trust us. Trust them? She snorts. She trusts the mold in her corner more. At least it's honest. It eats away at her walls, but it doesn't pretend it's fixing her. That night she texts Gloria. "So, how's your coach?" Gloria replies, "Oh, I'm a coach now, can you believe it?" "Congrats," Marisa types back, deadpan. She gets it now. This whole industry feeds on the same thing, fear. There's only one real product. Your worry, your insomnia, your quiet, "I'm not enough." Someone will always find a way to package that up and sell it back to you with a 10% discount code. So, who are you? The customer or the product? While you're wondering, someone's counting your clicks. She finally works up the nerve. No more half-baked apps, no more memes with "breathe babe" captions. This time it's the real deal. An actual therapist. A local clinic, plain white walls, a row of tired faces all staring at the same dirty linoleum floor. Nobody's talking. They're all here for the same reason. Their mind turned into a war zone they can't afford to rebuild. When her turn comes, she stands at the counter like she's about to buy her way back to sanity. The receptionist doesn't even blink. It's $100 a session. Card? Marisa slides her debit card over, praying under her breath. Beep. Declined. The lady behind the counter doesn't flinch. She's seen this 1,000 times. Another broke brain turned away at the door. Next. Outside, the air bites her cheeks. Her eyes sting too. From cold or from shame, who knows? She sees a corner store lottery machine blinking behind dirty glass. $2 for a scratch-off ticket. Cheaper than therapy. Maybe luck costs less than sanity. She buys it. Stands under a flickering streetlight, scratches the thing down to dust. The machine blinks back at her. Try again. She snorts. Right back at you, she whispers to no one. Half a laugh, half a choke. It's funny how losing $2 feels easier than losing a piece of your hope. She walks home. It's raining, of course. She could take the bus, another $2. But that's gone now, too. So she pulls her coat tighter and counts her steps in puddles. She passes a soggy flyer taped to a bus stop bench. Online therapy, first month special. She shakes her head. Even her sadness comes with promo codes now. At home, her mom pops up on FaceTime. Did you eat? Her mom asks, all worried eyes and half a kitchen showing behind her. Yeah, Mom, I ate, Marisa lies, just like always. Just like she lies to herself. It's fine. I'm fine. It'll be fine. Her mom holds up a pot of soup like she could spoon it through the screen. If only it worked that way. When the call ends, the apartment is back to its regular soundtrack. A dripping faucet, the fridge humming, the faint echo of someone arguing through the wall. She sits on the edge of her bed and stares at the ceiling. It's cracked in places. Spider veins that look like her thoughts. Branching, splitting. Impossible to patch up with cheap tape or some viral quote about self-love. She thinks, my head's expensive. But there's no thrift store for a mind worn thin. No clearance aisle for peace of mind. The worse off you are, the more you owe. That's the real tax on surviving. The world bills you for every minute you don't fall apart. Yet. Sometimes she dreams there'd be a coupon for pain. Suffering? Here's 30% off. But there's no discount, no free samples. You pay for every breath you try to take without drowning. She wipes her eyes with the sleeve of her work uniform. Tomorrow, same shift, same diner, same stale coffee. Same fake smile for people who tip in crumpled singles and forget her name the moment they leave. They don't know her heart races every night. They don't know her card got rejected by sanity itself. In the alley by her building, the lottery machine's glow still flickers. Some other stranger stands there now, scratching away hope for a couple of bucks. Marisa wonders, maybe my winning numbers will line up someday, inside me if nowhere else. Until then, she'll keep trying, same as always. Swipe card, decline. Scratch ticket, lose. Try again. And every time life says try again, she does, because no one's told her how many more tries she's got left before even hope costs too much. She drags herself home in the early gray morning, that hour when the city smells like wet concrete and other people's burned-out dreams. She unlocks her door, steps inside, and it's the same old kitchen, peeling paint, a fridge that hums like a tired old man, and a cracked window that lets in more noise than air. On the table, her laptop screen still glows. Same banner. Mind power. That ad is like a stray cat that showed up one night and never left. Normally she'd hate it. Tonight she doesn't. She sits down at her wobbly chair, the one with the loose screw that squeaks every time she shifts her weight. She opens the app, scrolls, meditations, affirmations, sleep guides, all in English, of course. For a second, she feels stupid. English still tastes foreign on her tongue when it's soft and kind. She's used to it, barking bills and threats. But the voice in her earbuds is calm. It says, breathe in, hold, let go. So she does. She breathes like someone is teaching her how to stay alive for the first time. Her head still spins. Rent, her mom's voice on FaceTime, that lottery ticket blinking, try again. But the voice cuts through the noise. She's not in the clinic line anymore, not at the diner refilling coffee for people who don't look her in the eye. She's here. Now in her own lungs. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes of a stranger whispering, breathe in, let go. In a language she's still learning to trust. But it works. Something unknots in her chest. Her jaw unclenches. For a moment there's no debt collector, no declined beep, just her and this borrowed calm. When the track ends, she doesn't close the laptop. She stares at the play again button like it's the cheapest lifeline she's ever found. Maybe it is. Nobody tells you peace comes with subtitles when you're broke. She gets up, rinses her mug, watches the faucet drip like it's trying to match her heartbeat. She dries her hands on her jeans, sits back down. Play. Another track. This one's an affirmation loop. I am safe. I am enough. I can rest. It feels corny. Silly even. If you put it on a stage with a spotlight and charged $1,000 for a ticket, people would call it enlightenment. For her it's just words in her ears, but they work. They land somewhere deep, where even her mother's prayers can't reach. 10 more minutes. 10 minutes where her brain doesn't scream about money or bills or whether she's just a statistic that nobody wants to fix. She sits there, eyes closed, hearing that gentle English repeat, I am safe. I am enough. I can rest. She doesn't even remember falling asleep. Head down on her arms, earbuds still in, laptop humming warm under her cheek. The fridge rattles. A neighbor's TV leaks through the thin walls. But in her dreams there's no bus fare she can't find. No clinic line that sends her home with a try again. Just breathing. Someone out there would laugh. Really? Some free app? Some random voice in English? Yeah, really. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes you don't need a life coach for $5,000 or a private retreat on a beach you'll never see. Sometimes all you get is 10 minutes and a voice that doesn't care about your credit score. Tomorrow she'll pull her hair back tight, tie her apron, pour burnt coffee for people who'll never know her name. She'll say, extra napkins, with that same tired smile. They'll leave coins on the table and forget her face the second they're out the door. But in her pocket, she'll have those words. Tucked between the receipts and bus passes, something priceless. I am safe. I am enough. I can rest. And if tomorrow tries to crush her again, it will. She knows where to find those 10 minutes. She knows how to sit at her old table, click play, and let some stranger remind her how to hold on. Sometimes surviving is just remembering you can still take one more breath. And no one, not the landlord, not the bank, not the world, gets to tax that air yet. So she does what the voice says. Breathe in, hold, let go. And in that breath, she's more than enough. Morning slips into her apartment quietly, almost unnoticed. Outside, the city's still waking up, groggy and scattered, just like her. Marisa gets out of bed, tired but with a strange new feeling, like a small weight has lifted off her chest. She slowly walks into the kitchen. Same old cracked walls, the fridge humming like a worn-out friend, the same chipped paint reminding her that nothing changes overnight. She puts the kettle on and pours herself a cup of black coffee.
Oh look, a meditation ad. How original, right? Except this one works. You press play, you actually sleep and reprogram your mind. No BS, no cosmic promises. Just sleep that rewires your mindset tonight. Link below. Try it. Or keep doom scrolling. Up to you.
Bitter as her last 2 paychecks. She doesn't rush, just sits down waiting for it to cool to something drinkable. Then she pulls out her phone and opens Mind Power again. This time she's not just tapping on ads, she knows where she's going. The affirmation section. Those simple phrases she used to roll her eyes at now feel like lifelines, tiny sentences with the power to stop the storm in her head. You have the right to rest. You don't have to be strong every second. The voice in her earbuds is calm, gentle, like an old friend who doesn't judge or rush her. She smiles, a small, quiet smile at first, then a little bigger, warmer. Suddenly she remembers she can afford to just be human. Her phone buzzes. It's her mom texting. "Are you at work?" Marisa types back, "Yeah, Mom, working on myself." That sentence feels almost like a joke, but it's real. Because now her work isn't just shifts at the diner or cleaning up after strangers. It's work inside herself, keeping herself from breaking. Maybe this new shift isn't 9 to 5. Maybe it's a few minutes a day she devotes to herself. Minimal self-care, but as vital as air. And the best part? Unlike everything else in her life, this new routine doesn't cost a dime. Not a single penny. Sunlight spills through the window, landing on the kitchen table where her cup waits. Steam rises slowly, fading into the air like the worries that once ruled her mind. Now those thoughts seem quieter, and she listens to them without fear. She closes her eyes and repeats the affirmation silently. I deserve peace. I have the right to rest. It's okay to be weak. Each word feels like a brick, building a strong foundation inside her to hold up under the weight of bills, debts, and expectations. Outside, the city wakes up. Cars honking, people rushing to their own battles. Marisa knows tomorrow brings another shift. New faces, new orders, new money worries. But now she has a small island of calm no one can take away. This isn't magic or an instant fix. It's a new routine. Slow, subtle, persistent. A routine telling her, stop fighting yourself. Start fighting for yourself. And in that routine, there is power. The power to admit weakness and still stand tall. The power to let go and accept. She sits barefoot on the cool floor, feeling the chill beneath her feet, and realizes this simple ritual is her first step back from the edge. To believe again that life can be more than survival. It can be something better. Maybe this new routine is a small victory in a huge noisy world with too much chaos and too little quiet. Maybe it's just a few minutes with an app, a cup of coffee, and a few kind words whispered in her ears. But for Marisa, it means everything. Because finally, she started taking care of herself. And sometimes that's the biggest step of all. Her phone vibrates. Another call? Debt collectors? The boss? Or just someone else wanting her time, her headspace, her nerves? She looks at the screen but doesn't answer. Slowly, she flips the phone face down, silently telling the world, "You can wait." Let these calls ring into the void while she reclaims her own moment. You can run from anything. The bills piling up like a mountain you'll never climb. The city that feels cold and unfamiliar. The endless demands from people who don't see or hear you. But you can't run from yourself. No matter how far you go, you carry your own voice, the one that knows your truth and won't betray it. Today, she grants herself what once seemed impossible. 10 minutes of silence. 10 minutes where she doesn't answer calls, where anxiety takes a back seat, where she stops chasing thoughts and just listens. In those minutes, silence becomes a luxury, more precious than any insurance policy or paycheck she's ever had. It's a silence that heals, that gives strength to keep fighting, that reminds her there's something real and untouchable inside. In those 10 minutes, she hears not the buzzing notifications but her own steady breath, calm, alive. She feels tension slip away and a quiet peace settle in, one that no external chaos can shake. This silence is her small victory in a world designed to wear you down and make you run faster. If you're sitting there thinking, "This isn't me, my life's different, under control," think again. How much is your peace of mind really worth? How many sleepless nights, frayed nerves, and lost moments do you trade just to keep up? The answer is simple. More than you think. Far more valuable than any material thing. In a world where everyone wants to sell you solutions and promises, true wealth is learning to stop and breathe. Not forever, not for long, but for just 10 minutes. Without guilt, without excuses. Simply giving yourself permission to be, with all your fears, fatigue, and imperfections. She knows tomorrow the battle will resume. More calls, more deadlines, more expectations that drain her energy and steal her time. But today she owns this island of calm. This small, precious moment where she is the master of her life, not a prisoner of circumstance. She looks at her phone, now powerless to dictate her mood. Inside, a quiet confidence blooms, not because everything is fixed, but because she's found a way to cope, a way to live no matter what. This isn't a story about grand victories or big wins. It's about one woman, tired and worn down, learning to care for herself, discovering the power of simple words and stolen moments of silence that help her hold on. If you're listening now, know this. Self-care isn't a luxury. It's a necessity, an investment you can't afford to neglect, because no money, no achievement can replace inner peace. At the end of the day, that peace is the most valuable currency any of us has. The thing that lets us get up in the morning and keep going. The thing that fuels hope, love, and life. Marisa puts her phone down and turns off the screen. The room falls into a deep, real, saving silence. Her silence. And in that silence, she hears herself. And this is the beginning of a new life.